Happy New Year, everybody. Happy 2019. Can you believe it? Where is the year gone? I hope all you guys and girls are well. It's good to see you guys. It's been so long. Whoop, just let me turn down my headphones. I can hear my music playing in the background. Hang on. There we go. You don't want feedback happening on the music. That would not be good. Yes, 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks since I've seen you guys and girls. I hope you're all well. And you had a good Christmas and a good New Year. Smurfberry Barbecue, Tamana, Sniper Echo, Frederick Mersden. Thank you for popping in and wishing everyone Happy New Year. My name is Phil, as you guys know. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist, and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the US, which is 1 a.m. in the UK or midday in Australia. Remember, if you missed the live streams, you can watch the catch-up premiere streams on a Friday and Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time in the US, which is 9 a.m. in Australia or 10 p.m. if you're in the UK. 3 months, hasn't been 3 months, Sniper Echo. Oh, you're going to get that Phil slap. It's been a while. It has been a while. But I had a good break. I enjoyed catching up with my brother and sister and their kids. It was a lot of fun. They're very tiring. Digitalis, it's good to see you. Digitalis says 10 years since Phil Street. Has not been 10 years. You guys. You guys are terrible. You're all going to get a Phil slap. This is a combined Phil slap for you all. 3 months, 10 years. Come on. You want me chained to my keyboard streaming 24/7, don't you? You deserve it, Sniper Echo. You know you do. Yeah, the kids. The kids were good. I took them to Movie World on the Gold Coast, which is like a theme park based around movies, no less. And they have a big, what do they call those things? A big roller coaster. That's the word. I took the kids on the roller coaster, and the youngest little girl threw up after she'd come off the roller coaster, thankfully. So that didn't go down too well with the parents, but hey, that's what Uncle Phil is for. It's to get them to do things that the parents won't let them do. Yeah, Sniper Echo does deserve a digitalis, I agree. Sniper says, I remember when I was young watching this stream. So cheeky, all of you. But particularly you, Sniper Echo. Particularly you. I'm sorry, guys. I can't be chained 24/7 streaming on Twitch. It's just not possible. Christmas was good. The kids were fun. They got to do stuff with Uncle Phil that they wouldn't normally do with their parents. The youngest one throwing up didn't go down too well with the mum, but hey. She's my sister. She can live with it. But it was good. It was a good break. I enjoyed seeing the family. Digitalis says, I remember I didn't have grey hair when watching people. When watching Phil. Come on. We finished that House in the Hollow project we were working on. We're on something new at least now, so you can't bitch about that anymore. We don't have a kitchen and bathroom, but hey, I'll put one in maybe this year at some stage. Sniper Echo says, but then again, my memory isn't what it used to be. So you can't even spell. That's exactly right. Thought you were going to say you were butthurt. That's what I saw when I noticed the first word, butthurt. Oh, well, what can I say? 2018 flew by. I'm sure 2019 will fly by as well. Wait, the house is finished, Sniper Echo. You get the stink eye for that one, Sniper Echo. Yes, the house is completely finished. No, not completely finished. We don't have a kitchen and bathroom. We may revisit the House on the Hollow house that we did in UE4 at some stage this year and put in a kitchen and put in a bathroom as well as an outhouse somewhere in the forest to keep you all happy and stop you and shut you all up. If I decide to turn it into a game. So we'll see how we go. Smurfberry says, still needs a wine cellar. Yeah, actually it does need a wine cellar. I want to put, if we go back to it to make it turn into a game, I want to put a kitchen in, a bathroom in, an outhouse out in the forest. I do want to put a cellar in because I think that'd be cool. And I also want to put an attic in because there is room above in the ceiling I did actually allow room for an attic. So I think an attic in there would be really cool. And you know how in that building, we've got those turrets on the corners, the outside corners at the front and the back? They're like these round turrets. I thought it might be really cool to put a spiral stairwell in there to get up to the attic, like a hidden panel in a wall during the game that you have to find to get to the spiral stairwell that will take you up to the attic. I think that'd be really cool. A haunted wine cellar, that's right, Smurfberry. Smurfberry says, with a secret door that leads to catacombs. Well, actually, I thought with the wine cellar we could hide the door under the stairs. You know how you got that main stairwell, which is the first thing we sort of look at when we come through the building, through the gates, inside the building. We've got that main stairwell. I thought having a sort of like a door in the side of that you couldn't see initially might be really cool. Or maybe it was locked initially that you couldn't get into. But catacombs sounds cool as well. We could lead the catacombs throughout somewhere into the forest. That would be cool. And Smurfberry says, and a river with a pipe organ and a love chamber and candles. Oh, I don't know about the river. Don't know about the river. Excuse me 2 seconds. You guys know they can never leave me alone at work. Okay. Smurfberry says, and a guy with half of his face burnt off and a penchant for vengeance. Well, see, that's the other thing. If we turn the house and the level into a game, we have to come up with a story for the game. And that's the difficult part, because story is everything. At least for me, when I play a game, if it's got an interesting story, I'm happy. So we have to come up with a story for it. I'm sure we can think of something. I was thinking along the lines of like a horror/mystery type game. So not completely horror, but mystery. Sort of like, so sort of like telling a story as well as a little bit of horror thrown in there. Not where you're running constantly away from horror, but maybe some jump scares, that sort of thing. It could be cool, and it would allow me to show you guys how I would go about optimizing that level, because remember when we created it, we made it for a cinematic. So I wasn't concerned with draw calls, I wasn't so concerned with poly counts. I mean, I thought about them, don't get me wrong, but we'd have to optimize all that sort of stuff to turn it into a game. So it could be cool to look at doing all of that as well live on Twitch. Sniper says, Phil, it is. We'll see how we go. We'll see. I mean, there's all these marketplaces opening up now. I mean, Discord have their own marketplace that you can sell on if you're making a game. Epic Games, of course, have their marketplace. There's always trusty old Steam. There's a whole lot of marketplaces opening up now, all trying to undercut each other on commissions as to how little they take, which is good. It's good for developers, people that make the stuff. I mean, you know, it always annoys me because you guys know I sell my 3D models, that they take a 30% cut because I was about to say they do nothing. They don't do nothing. There's a cost involved in running the website. There's all that behind the scenes stuff. So, you know, I don't begrudge them making money off of your work, which is what they're doing. But I think 30% is a bit high, personally. Smurfberry says, Phil's going to get you, screams in the distance. That's right. You're just going to see this huge hand flying through the air trying to whack people in the game. Smurfberry says, smells triangles. Well, of course, if you're working with the Unreal Engine or any game engine, it could be Unity. Even if you work in polys inside of your game engine, so you got nice square polygons everywhere, as soon as you export that and import it into a game engine, the game engine is going to triangulate it because rasterization works with triangles. So all of today's game engines, I'm pretty sure, still triangulate every mesh that you import into that engine. So it's already triangulated, which can be a bit of which you can sometimes have to be careful with, because if you work in quads inside of your 3D program, when you export that and import it into the game engine, because it converts it to tries, you end up increasing dramatically your vertex count. So people import their model that's maybe nice and optimized in their 3D program, but when they get it into the game engine, all of a sudden the vert count has gone through the roof, and that's because it's triangulating your mesh. Smurfery says it freaks me out the way that game engines work. The edges aren't even attached. Sometimes they should be attached. Android Lust, it's good to see you. How are you? Did you have a good Christmas and New Year? And Quick Draw, it's good to see you as well. I hope you're well and you guys and girls have all had a great Christmas and New Year. We've just been talking about that House on the Hollow project. We finished the last project on Twitch and how we may come back and turn it into a game, and I'll add the kitchen and bathroom and a few other bits and pieces. I mean, I'd like to do it. It'll be fun. I enjoyed working on it. Smurfberry says, or maybe I was thinking of the way that the GPU renders the frames. You could be. I'm pretty sure you want to make sure your mesh is welded. It triangulates the mesh. It doesn't generally break the edges, though. It shouldn't. None that I've come across have. If it broke the edges inside the engine of the mesh, you get light leaking happening from behind, and which is why sometimes it's good to make sure your mesh is completely sealed if you bring it into a game engine, so you can avoid getting any light leaks happening from inside the mesh. Oh, you're 33 today, Quick Draw. Well, happy birthday. 33. Well, you know, you welcome to the 30s. Welcome to the club. I'm not 33, but I'm in my 30s. I'm going to say where in my 30s, but welcome and happy birthday. 33 years young, as Android Lust says. That's right. I won't sing happy birthday to you. I won't subject you to my terrible singing voice. But happy birthday nonetheless. So close to Christmas too. So you get presents at Christmas and then you get presents just after Christmas. That's so cool. You know, a week or two after Christmas you get more presents. Nice. Quick Draw says, on the topic of triangulation, you never want to leave n-gons. That's a recipe for disaster. True. Although they're nice to work with in the 3D program. Smurfy says, GPU architecture is scary. It can be. Digitalis says, you'll be 30 soon. Well, you're just a young'un then, Digitalis, aren't you? Still, you'll be in the 30 club soon enough. But like I was saying, just before I went on stream, we were talking about age. I don't know how we got onto the topic last time either. You're only as old as you feel anyway. What do they say? You're only as old as the person you feel? So rude. I said it and I regret saying it already. You're only as old as you feel. Jim Smithbury says 39.9999. Okay. 3.14 on life. Quick Draw says used to be that way. Sniper says I'm 87 now. Well, you're doing well for 87, Sniper Echo. Smithbury says mine is 1 week from today. Oh, cool. You must make sure you pop in and say when your birthday is, Smurfberry Barbecue. We want to wish you happy birthday. It goes for all you guys and girls watching. I don't celebrate my birthday. You find the older you get, the less you want to celebrate your birthday, so I don't even talk about it anymore when my birthday comes around. That's the advantage of having all my family up in Queensland and in New South Wales. There are none around me, so I can avoid it if I want to. Snipe says, last time I watched, I was 15. Wow, there's something wrong with your growth patterns there if you were 15 last time and you're 87 now. You're a medical miracle, Sniper Echo. Smurfberry says, okay, next week on Monday's stream, I'll pop in and say, sculpt me like one of your French girls. And Chord 3D, thank you for joining the Phildoes 3D Discord server. Remember, guys and girls, if you haven't already, join the Phildoes 3D Discord server. Very friendly group of guys and girls there, if not cheeky. There's a gallery section where you can show your work, and everyone can post links in Discord, but only subs to my channel can post links in Twitch chat. So don't post a link in Twitch chat unless you're a sub, because you'll get timed out either by Nightbot or Sniper Echo, whoever's faster with the ban timeout button. But everyone can post a link in Discord. Digital says, I think Sniper Echo needs some slapping. You think I should slap him digitality? Let's give Sniper another slap, because he loves his slaps anyway. Do remember, if you're a sub, you can do these slaps and stuff yourself. You can find the commands on my website, builders3d.com. Go to the sub perks menu at the top, and you'll find links to the commands there. That's if you're a sub. But Cord 3D, it's good to see you. Quick Draw says, for my birthday I treated myself to a bottle of bourbon, probably a mistake. Oh, I love bourbon. Ooh. You guys know I don't drink anymore. Well, I drink socially, but not very much. But I used to love bourbon. Love bourbon. My favourite spirit was bourbon. And still is. Love a good bottle of bourbon. So that's cool. Quick Draw. I approve. Bourbon is the best spirit of all. I used to drink rum until I made myself completely sick on it when I was about 20. I drank like a whole bottle of rum, and then I can't remember the rest of the night. And then the next morning, I was as sick as a dog. Now, even just the smell of rum makes me feel sick. Again, too much information. You're sharing way too much, Phil. I told you I was a wild child when I was younger. Well, what's this link you've posted here? Sniper Echo? Is this family friendly? Should I look? I want to look so bad. What's going on? Just. I'm looking at it off screen, just in case. Oh, it's me. What do they say? You're only as old as the person you build. You clipped that. Oh, wow. I'll never live it down now. They'll see it at work and they'll say, what are you doing? The studio that I work for don't mind. I don't mention who I work for, so they can't get any bad PR. That's revenge for all the slaps, isn't it, Sniper? Okay. Just let me plug this thing in over here. There we go. Sniper says, by the way, dude. Sniper says he drinks when work pipes it down his gullet. Yeah, that's right. You guys know. They force me to go to the Melbourne Cup every year. They force me to go to the Melbourne Cup, and they hold my mouth open and they stick bottles of champagne down my throat. Well, they pour bottles of champagne down my throat. Let me get that right. So I usually end up pretty drunk at the end of the Melbourne Cup. So you are right, Smokery, they do. Quick Draw says, Nita on the rocks? Ooh. Generally on the rocks, but I have had it neat before as well. Usually on the rocks, but a neat occasionally. Neat is just a bit too strong. If I want to get drunk quickly, then it would be neat, but otherwise it's usually on the rocks. It used to be anyway. The Sniper says, yeah, pretty much, Phil. Yeah, that's right. You're blackmailing me now. You're getting back at me for all those Phil slaps, aren't you? Okay. Actually, I just want to talk about this. This is not my work. This is a character, of course, from Dark Souls. But there's a program you can purchase on Steam called Wallpaper Engine. It allows you to have live wallpapers, and I think it's amazingly cool. It's really cheap. It's only like $4. You buy it on Steam. I bought it. I had nothing to do with the guy that created it. I just thought it was really cool that you could have animated wallpapers for Windows. So yes, what are we doing? We are working in Max. We're creating a new model that I can put in my store. We're going to do another rotunda terrace because they sell really well. And last week we brought this photogrammetry object in so that we could work with it. We'll do something with it. We are going to have to clean up this stuff, these photogrammetry objects, because they're too high poly initially, and some of the texturing needs to be tidied up a little bit. Sniper says, yeah, I got a wallpaper of that clip in the background. Oh, okay, cool. Well, there you go. Great minds think alike, don't we, Sniper? Again, I like the Dark Souls games, not so much playing them, But I love the art style that they created for them. I think they did a beautiful job. The environments look really nice. And the character models are really nice as well. Which is probably why the games are so popular. Duh. But yeah, the designs, I really like the designs. It's sort of like creepy gothic. It's really cool. All right, so yes, we're going to have to do some cleanup work on some of these photogrammetry pieces. We already cleaned up the urn here, and we re-texture mapped it, and we optimized the mesh so it wasn't quite so high poly. I think what we'll do is we may send this part over to ZBrush so I can just do a bit of cleanup on it. Why not? So what am I going to do? I'm going to start by assigning just a plain texture to it, because I don't need the texture in ZBrush. I'm only using ZBrush to clean the mesh up a little bit. So I'm just going to assign this plain texture to it. Give Max a minute to work out what's going on. I've noticed, I don't know if it's the NVIDIA driver or it's something in Max, but this texture business going black happens occasionally. It's really annoying. I might just undo that because I don't think I grabbed the original texture. Let me see. Oh, there we go. I want to make sure I have this original texture so I can reassign it, because that would be bad. Okay, I'm just going to make sure I turn on show shaded. I think that might have been the problem. Let's reassign the material. There we go. QuickDraw says, I think it has to do with the size of the... It could have that too, yeah. There are options in Max where you can change your texture sizes and stuff. Yeah. So if you work with larger textures, you can up it here inside of the viewport preferences. I generally don't set it larger than 4K. Most of the time I work in 4K, sometimes 8K. But I find 4K is generally okay for what I need. It gives me a good enough look at the texture without it being too low res. But no, the problem there was because I hadn't turned on show in viewport. That's why it was showing up black. But you are right, QuickDraw, that can also be a cause of that problem. Okay, so I'm just going to turn flat mode on for a minute so we can just take a bit of a look at the dome here. So our dome is all textured up, which is good. From the photogrammetry object itself, we don't have to worry about texturing up the inside of the dome. But let's send this this piece over to ZBrush so we can clean it up a little bit. Guys, edit in ZBrush. Let's pull it out. And all I'm going to, like I said, all I'm going to be using ZBrush for here is just to clean it up just a little bit. So I want smooth peak, smooth valley. I think we'll go with smooth peaks. Let's pull the intensity way, way down. Let's pull the brush size up. Just going to undo that. It finally happened. I was working in ZBrush before I went on break. Come on. You thought it wouldn't? Sniper Echo says, well, you guys know how much I love ZBrush. How much I love the interface in ZBrush. Horrible. Thankfully, I use that mouse plugin that allows me to work with a little bit more ease, a little bit more normally, and unlike ZBrush's crappy interface. Someone told someone hold you, Sniper Echo. Yes, someone hold Sniper Echo. He's freaking out because I'm in ZBrush. He knows how much I love it. I think what I might do here is I might switch to the smooth brush instead. Even just this crap where it keeps popping up with these little mess. You probably can't see it because I'm in the way. Just this rubbish where it pops up with, you know, telling me what I'm doing. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Stop doing it. Really annoying. Oh, okay. I was changing the intensity before I hit the shift key. That was the problem. So let's go back to smooth peaks. Is there a way to turn this? Skip this. You can skip it, but only until you restart the program, and then it does it again. So let's change the intensity while I have the shift key held down. Okay, let's pull it up. I'm just using this to take out some of the noise that's inside, that's in the mesh from the photogrammetry picture, from the photograph. We're going to do an optimization on the mess once we've cleaned it up a little bit. QuickDraw says, do you get any good results with the polish feature? I don't know that I use the polish. You're talking about the brush? You're talking about the polish brush here? I don't know that I use it that much. Let's try it. Let's see what the polish brush will give us. Yeah, polish brush is nice as well. I have to admit, I don't generally use the polish brush. It's you know, I don't know about you guys, but I find a lot of the times when I work with certain brushes in certain programs, I have my favorites, and I don't tend to move very much from my favorite brushes. And I should, because I include them for a reason, and half of them are probably good. So, QuickDraw says, if you go to deformation polish on the right menu. Okay, you're talking about doing something. Not document deformation. Where are we? You're talking about doing something to the entire mesh at once. QuickDraw on the right menu. Yeah. I don't tend to like to do that. I like to do it by hand. Yeah. Yeah, I don't tend to like to do anything on the entire mesh for cleanup. I prefer to do it by hand, and that way I can vary the intensity for some things over others. For some things it's probably fine, but yeah, I like to do it by hand. I prefer to do it by hand than apply it to the entire mesh, because of course you could do it inside of your 3D program as well, like Max. I don't need to bring it into ZBrush. If I just want to do it all at once, I can do it inside of Max. And like I said, yeah, it's probably a good idea if you have, for some objects it'll be fine. Android Lust says, thought you were referring to the clay poly. Yeah, I did too, which I'm using now at the moment, and it's actually working quite well, as well as the smooth brush anyway. QuickDraw says, as an experiment, see what results you get for science. Okay, where are we? Well, I've not used it before, so I have to find it to begin with. Polish by features or polish? Actually, yeah, you see, no, I don't like that. It does what it says on the tin. It is removing a lot of the noise from the model. It is. Look, again, you hear me bitching about ZBrush, but for all its faults, it is an amazing piece of software. I do admit. Looking at this polish by features. Polish by features is a little bit. It is pretty cool, actually. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Actually, that is very cool. Is this, it goes to show you how little I really know about ZBrush, because again, you guys know I don't use it very much. I don't like it. I don't like the interface. I love the program. I generally only ever use it for a bit of cleanup work. That is quite cool. That is very cool, actually. Quick Draw says you can create a morph target of the original, then paint back the details you want to keep sharp. That's an interesting option as well. You use ZBrush quite a lot, Quick Draw. That's very cool. I think what I might do is I'll use the polish by features just really low, and then I might go over it just by hand in spots here and there. Yeah, you do use it quite a lot. Yeah, no, it is, again, I don't want to diss ZBrush as a program. It does the job really nicely. It's a nice piece of software. There is nothing really that compares to it. The closest is Autodesk's Mudbox, and even that's not as good as ZBrush. So the program is the best at what it does, no doubt. So, I'm going to use that. Thank you for that tip there, Quick Draw. I'll use the polish feature to get rid of most of the noise. And I'll go in by hand here just to clean up any other areas that I think need a little bit more, as opposed to doing them all. Very good tip, Quick Draw. And I'm actually using the polish brush. So generally I use the smooth or the peaks brush, but this one is working quite well as well. So polish for the win. Yeah, again, great tip, Quick Draw, with the polish by features here. But again, I like going in and doing stuff by hand, which is why I like using Mari so much. Substance Painter is great to get stuff done relatively quickly and to create PBR materials, of course. But I find I like getting in there and doing stuff by hand, which is why I like Mari so much. I like texture painting in Mari. It just feels more arty. That's a word. Sniper says, one thing I can't stand about ZBrush is when someone gives you a model that was sculpted in it and asks you to create a low poly of it. Yeah, ZBrush is really great for making a low poly, high poly. Although you can use the, where are we? Can't remember what they call it now. There's a tool in ZBrush that you can use to retopologize. So you can get a nice low-res mesh that way, if you're working with a high-res in ZBrush. Mesher, that's the one, Quick Draw, thank you. Yeah, that's a good tool to use to get a low poly mesh from a high poly one. I find generally ZR Mesher will give you nice quads, so it's a nice tool to use in ZBrush. But because when I want a low poly model, I'm usually going to be taking that into a game engine. I don't usually work with low poly models unless I'm working in a game engine. It's really the only time I need a low poly model. And if I'm going to be doing that, then generally what I do is I work in Max and I decimate the high poly mesh into a low poly mesh. Now it's going to create triangles for you, not quads. But I'm not sure if there's a setting where you can change it to quads. There might be in Max. But like I said, when you import that model into your game engine, it's going to be tris anyway. So working with tris right off the bat, at least you know what you're going to get when you import it. And I find that works pretty well. So if I want to do some poly reduction on a high-res mesh, I use one of the optimized modifiers in Max to create the low poly version. QuickDraw says Blender actually has some cool plugins for remeshing. Oh, cool. Yeah, Blender's a great piece of 3D software as well. Again, Blender, open source, completely free to use. I do encourage you guys to check it out. You don't have to spend 1 red cent to get into 3D. You can use Blender, and Blender is very good. Sniper says, yeah, I'm looking for one in Blender actually. I'm sure there will be one. There's 2 in Max, 2 optimized decimation modifiers in Max, the old one and the new one. Generally you want to use the new one in Max. It does a better job. And of course it can keep all your textures and all that sort of stuff as well. Your UVs. So I'm just going through and removing some of these sharp points that the Photogrammetry put in the model. The top here is I'm not so worried about, because that's actually going to be covered by another piece that goes above it. So well, there you go. Take QuickDraw suggestions, Snapbreaker, and check Discord. Most of the noise that's in the model here is actually, like I said, from the photograph. No matter how good your camera is and how good your lighting is on the day, you're going to get some noise in a photo, and that's what causes the mesh to look pimply. Is, I guess, probably not a great word, but you guys know what I mean. But you want to do your smoothing before you do your optimization. As you guys know, the more polys the better for ZBrush. I think we might almost be back to the beginning again, for the top row anyway. Okay, let's move down to here. But I will make sure I keep that in mind, though, QuickDraw, about the polish option here in deformation, because yeah, that saves a lot of time. Means I can be less arty, unfortunately. Not as much work required for me to go through with the pen and correct stuff, but hey, that's okay. If you're working to a deadline, it'll be invaluable. I really should do more work in ZBrush. I should pay more attention to the program, because it is good. I shouldn't just use it for my cleanup work. I should use it properly. Just in my line of work, because I work in arts biz now, I don't tend to use it as much as I used to when I worked in games. So it's been years since I worked in games, so I haven't really paid a lot of attention to ZBrush over the last few years. I know they're constantly, Pixelogic constantly add stuff to it, so... I do keep everything updated though, just to, I am using the newest version of ZBrush 2018. So I keep my software updated even though I don't use it a lot. Usually, not always. Sometimes I forget. I think it took me like 12 months to update to the new version of Gnarled. But I'm there now. I have the new version. I think we might be just about back at the beginning. Okay, let's look at the base here, or the underside I should say, not the base. I don't want to smooth it out completely. I want some roughness to it because it is made of stone. It will be a little bit rough. It's just these bits here, I don't want to over smooth those, the decoration at the top of the column, which is why I didn't want to go too high here. Work smarter, not harder, QuickDraw. That's right. That's exactly right. QuickDraw says, yeah, I've been using the live Boolean feature a lot lately for hard surface modeling. It's sped up my workflow. I love Boolean modeling in Max. Yeah, whenever I can, I use Boolean modeling. It does speed up creation a lot. And Max has really good Boolean tools as well. Just going to hit that edge there a little bit as well, because you guys know I hate a hard edge. It's not natural. Even though these edges aren't going to be really hard edged because it's photogrammetry, it does sort of respect the edge being a little bit curved. I'm just going to occasionally here and there hit it to smooth it out even more, I think, because why not? Which is why using photogrammetry can be really getting back to that work smarter, not harder. Can be a really useful tool because you can get your model created much more quickly than doing it all by hand, trying to model it all by hand. Now, you know, like I pointed out last time when we were talking about photogrammetry, I don't use photogrammetry in that I don't just scan an object and then use that as it is. I take scans of objects, different things, and put them together into a new 3D object, which is what you see me doing here with this terrace, this rotunda. I'm taking the bits and pieces from the photogrammetry that I like, and then I'm combining them in to create a new 3D model. It's a better way to work. You're going to create something unique that you can't find just using photogrammetry, but you get all of the benefits of photogrammetry by taking bits and pieces that were created using photogrammetry. Because technology's got to the stage now, if you're a 3D person, where you can just pretty much create 3D models with your phone. You don't really need anything. So, and that sort of stuff can be automated, and it is starting to be automated now with AI and different algorithms that they're creating. So you don't want to make yourself unemployable by just being able to do photogrammetry. You want to be able to take photogrammetry and create something new out of it, because that's the sort of thing that no AI can ever do. anything that's more creative than just scanning an object. Quick Draw says, have you tried 3D printing of any of your scans? No, you're not the first person to ask me. No, I've never tried doing any 3D printing. I mean, I've looked into 3D printing, like I know about it, but I've never done any of it. No. That'll be a cool thing to do, to 3D print one of the models you make. To have it as a physical object, that could be very cool. But no, I've never actually looked into doing it with any of my stuff. I do know you have to be careful with 3D printed models, like they have to, with the design that is, so that they stand up, they don't break apart. Stuff like this though will be fine. And 3D printing has come a long way just in the last few years. So I'd like to try it. I think it'd be cool. A lot of people do that, use ZR Mesher here to create to retopologize their photogrammetry object. Like, I'm not doing it that way, but some people, particularly if they want to then take that retopologized model back into the photogrammetry software to reproject a new texture onto, they use ZR Mesher and ZBrush to do that. I've seen guys working that way. Say they want a cleaner topology, so they use ZR Mesher to retopologize not a low poly version, but a high poly quad mesh version that they then take back into the photogrammetry software to reproject the texture onto before they use that final model in their 3D program. So using ZR Mesher not so much to get a low poly model from a high, but just to retopologize and just to get a cleaner mesh that they can then reproject the texture back onto. But I'm going to be doing an optimize on this anyway, so in Max. So that's not really something I want to do. You got to be careful doing that too, that you don't move the model, because otherwise you won't be able to reproject the texture back onto it inside the photogrammetry software. Quick Draw says, yeah, I was thinking about purchasing a printer that doesn't break the bank. They're not too bad now. I mean, I know you can buy some that are about $400 Australian, which is probably about $250 US. Quick Draw says, I've seen Alex Alvarez use that workflow. I'm not sure who that is. I'm not familiar with Alex, but yeah, a few people work that way as well. If they want a quad mesh, and of course when you use photogrammetry, the program generally doesn't create a quad mesh, it just creates a triangulated mesh. So yeah, ZR Mesher inside of ZBrush is a good way to get a quad mesh and take it back into the 3D photogrammetry software and reproject your texture, and then take your model into your 3D program. Again, for my workflow, I don't tend to need to do that. If I want to UV map the model, I do it in Max. I'm not so concerned with everything being quads. Hard surface stuff, quad meshes are really important for nice clean edge loops, that sort of stuff. If you're doing character work, and that's basically so that the animator has a nice clean mesh to work with. So that's why quads are really important for character modeling. Hard surface modeling, they're not so important. I mean, I'm going to get stoned for saying that because, you know, they're a much cleaner way to model than tries, for sure. And if you want to model in quads, then do. It's a good way to work. But they're less important for hard surface modeling or environment stuff than character modeling. So I don't tend to worry about it so much for this hard surface stuff. I'm going to do an optimize, and that's going to turn it into a tri-mesh anyway. Yeah. So yeah, if you're doing character work, quads all the way. You want nice, clean, smooth edge loops because the animator needs a nice, clean model to animate the model with. But if you're doing hard surface stuff, it's less important. Really, I wouldn't go out of my way to use quads if you're doing hard surface. If you want to, hey, have at it, but you don't need to. I don't think I'm going to do any smoothing on the what are they called? Staghorns. On the staghorn decorative pieces here at the top, because I don't want to smooth them out too much. I just wanted to get rid of the noise that was happening in the rest of the model here. I might just go through the inside a little bit quickly as well. Capitals? What do you mean capitals, Quick Draw? So I'm just going to go, again, this is not really seen. This is hidden underneath of the dome. The dome sort of comes down to about here inside, but I just want to make sure I tidy it up just a little bit. It'll help too when we do the decimation, when we do the optimization, if we don't have any peaks or anything. It helps the modifier to create a nicer looking mesh. Mercury says capitals are the caps at the end of columns. That's what I thought. Doric, iconic, Corinthian. Gotta love those Corinthian columns. Oh, wow, it takes me back to when I worked on Jumper, because I was working on a scene that was inside of the Colosseum. Yes, Colosseum, that's the word. Lots of Corinthian columns. Looks like we might have a couple of floaters here and there. I'll look at that when I get back into Max. And floaters, I just mean pieces of geometry that aren't attached to anything. I have a feeling they may be actually inside of something else though. Your art history is paying off, Quick Draw says. Gotta love art history. I'm not going to worry about the interior of the column here because I have pieces that go over that, which we'll look at when I jump back into Max. New hello, hey new hello, it's good to see you. Says hi, how are you? Where did you learn 3D software like 3D Studio Max, Cinema 4D, UE4, ZBrush? Where did I learn it? Well, I've always used 3D software, like I played with it since I was like 15. I've always liked making stuff in 3D. So I started using 3D, playing with it when I was about 15, and I started with 3D Studio version 1. Before it was called Max, it used to be called 3D Studio, and I started playing with that at version 1 when I was really young, while I was still at school. Then I went and became a chef, so I didn't do so much 3D work. Then I went back to university and I studied 3D and design and programming, so I used it at uni and I was taught some stuff there. And then I went to work for a games company after that, and then I did some work in film. So I've just been using it for a long time, for a while. Max, that is, 3D Studio Max. Sniper Echo, who was in my chat, he uses Blender. I think Quick Draw might as well, which is another great free 3D program. Although do remember, if you are a student, you can get a free 3-year license from Autodesk for nothing to use Max or Maya if you want. They give you a license for 3 years if you're a student. All you need is a student email address. So you just go to Autodesk's website and you can sign up there for a free license if you're a student. But it's good to see you, New Hello. Just QuickDraw says discrete or something like that. Oh, your main program is Max. Sorry, QuickDraw. I just assumed because you're talking about Blender with Sniper that you might have used Blender. Oh yeah, no, Max is my baby too. I love 3D Studio Max. Love it, love it, love it. But because I work in ArchViz, that's what's used most in ArchViz work as well. They pretty much all use Max. Not exclusively, you can find studios that use other software as well, but Max is used quite a lot. Max integrates with CAD modeling really well. That's why a lot of studios tend to use it. A lot of ArchViz studios. They can take their models from the CAD software directly into Max much more easily. And Max has a lot of stuff built into it, like stairs and window frames and all that sort of stuff that architects like to use. It's another reason why a lot of studios use Max, a lot of ArchViz studios. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to do any cleanup work on the stag horns. Let's send that back to Max. I can't remember, do I hit GOZ or export? I think it's just GOZ. View is actually installed too. I don't know why I can't find it. I'm just going to see if I can't point it to the view directory. Program files. Eon software. Oh, actually, I'm not going to do this right now. I don't want to send this to Eon View. Why are you being so annoying? Okay, that's sent that back through to Max. I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to isolate the mesh and have a check. Yeah, it sent it back. Okay, let's jump in and reassign the texture. Alright, let's I just want to double check what that UV map for that texture looks like. That's fine. We could remap it if we wanted to, but it's using most of the UV space, so that should be fine. This is a texture. This is the UV map and texture that the Photogrammetry software created. You can see it does do some strange stuff here with its UV mapping, but so long as it looks good in the model, and that's fine. We could re-UV map it though if we wanted to, but I don't think it needs it. But we do need to reduce the polys. So again, I'm going to jump back into isolation mode. And if I turn edged faces on, we can see how many polys this is. It's quite a few. More than we actually need. Again, I'm not making a game. I'm not putting it into a game engine. I could leave it the way it is if I really wanted to. But better to optimize it. It'll use less memory when we do our render. and we should be able to do it without losing any detail anyway, so we will use the Pro Optimizer, which is the new one in Max. I want to keep the textures, and I'm going to merge the verts. Let's get it to calculate the mesh. Now I turned edge spaces off because when I start doing the optimization in the modifier, I want to be able to see the actual model and I don't want the edge spaces to get in the way. Okay, so if I sort of zoom in here on one of our decorative pieces, let's take it all the way down to 10% of the polygons. Now you can see we're starting to lose a lot of definition through there, so 10 is a bit too much. Let's try 20, let's try 30. Just going to turn the modifier on and off so I can compare between the two. Off and on. That's not too bad. We'll lose a little bit of definition. I could bring it up a little bit more if I really wanted to, but I don't think we're losing enough that it's noticeable. It's so subtle just through here. That's the original. That's with it turned on. So original, optimized. We're not losing very much. But you can see we're taking our poly count from 8 million now to about 2.5 million. Is that correct? 1, 2, 3. No, that's not correct. That's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 2. We're going from 1, 2, 3. We're going from close to 1 million polygons, 870,000, to about 560,000. So we're going from 870,000 to 260,000. So we're reducing it by quite a bit. So if I turn edge spaces back on, you can see we don't have that really dense mesh. If I turn the thing off, we can see the difference. So that should work well for what we want. Keeps enough detail, but reduces the poly count quite a bit. So I'm going to collapse that now. And that bakes that new poly count into the mesh. I'm just going to convert it to a poly at this stage as well. From a mesh to a poly. Jump out of isolation mode. So we optimize the mesh. I don't need to re-UV map it, so that's fine. Let's look at the base here. I want to smooth the edges of this rotunda base because that's too sharp, unnatural. I'm going to smooth the edges on the interior here, but we're really not going to see those because we have this lip, this border edging that goes over the top of it. But I might as well do it while I'm doing the rest of it. So let's do that. Okay, now it's UV mapped, so I'm just going to collapse it. I'm going to... Now I do have Quad Chamfer here, which is a plugin you can buy and add to Max, but I'm just going to use the normal Max's chamfer tool, I think. But before I do that, I want to choose the edges. Let us deselect the ones we don't want. Red edges on a red model, probably not great to look at, but Or hard to see, I should say. Get rid of you. Just going to get rid of these ones because we don't want to chamfer the ones that are running on a flat surface. I could have selected an edge and used the loop or the ring command as well, but hey. Let's do it this way. We started doing it this way now, let's finish it. Using the loop and the ring command probably would have been quicker. Alright, let's check to make sure we do have all of our edges selected. It looks like I might have missed one here and there. I don't want the inner edge selected either. So, whoops, wrong button. So as I go checking the rest of them, I'm just going to remove the edge here on the inside. Stop doing that. I do want those two selected, so that's good. And I think we're back to the beginning now, so we have all the ones at the outside selected. All the ones on the inside selected. Okay. Now let's add the chamfer modifier. I'm going to do 3 segments. Pull back a little bit. And pull back on the tension a little bit as well. Now, I probably could have upped the resolution of this space a little bit. It's a little bit stair-steppy, but you've got to get in pretty close to notice it, so it should be okay. We could always mesh smooth it to get rid of that if we found it was too much of a problem. Now, what I think I might do is I'm going to pull it up so we do get that nice smooth look where the two pieces join, as opposed to that harsh look we were getting if it's too low. This is probably more accurate. You're going to get a pretty a sharp angle generally between two steps like this. But if we just pull it up a little bit, I just think that looks a little bit nicer. It probably might look nicer in the render. if there's a bit of a smooth join between the two. Okay, I just wanted to take that hard edge off, so that is all good. Okay. Because it's a modifier though, once we put the scene together, if I decide that I don't like that smooth corner, that smooth rounded join, I can always change it here before we commit the model, which is why I love Max's modifier stack so much. We can sort of view it, test it. If we don't like it, we can change it. Okay, these are actually photogrammetry as well, so I'm not going to do any cleanup on them. I don't think they need it, but I'm going to do some polygon adjustments. I think they use the same texture map as these, so I don't have to worry about the texture map. I just might want to do some poly reduction. I'm just going to isolate them all. Now, initially the photogrammetry object, these were all one photogrammetry piece. This is what I get back to saying with using photogrammetry. I don't use the objects exactly as they are from the object we capture. So what I did was I removed the central columns, because if we look again at the photograph that makes this object up, I spoke about it last time I was talking about photogrammetry. This is the actual object, the photogrammetry object that that I used to create the model. I don't like the columns. I thought the columns were way too boring. So what I did was I cut the columns because I want to do something a little bit more interesting with the texturing of them. I wanted to add a bit more interest in the column itself as well, so if we look at it back in Max, I've added a bit more detailing to the column, and we'll texture it up in Substance Painter and in Mari. We'll do something more interesting than the original. So that's the reason that the bases are separate from the rest of it. But we do need to optimize these base pieces, I think. Yeah, they're probably a bit high poly for what we need, so let's select one, throw down a Pro Optimizer. Again, we're going to keep the textures, merge the verts. Let's take it down to 10 and have a look. Let's knock it up to 20. I just don't like what it's doing here, so we need to take it up a bit higher. Let's take it to 40, so that keeps our geometry shape at the top. That should be fine, I think. So we went from 9,000 polys to around about 3,000, 3,500. So I'm going to copy the modifier. Again, another thing I love about Max. Paste our modifier down, calculate. Must remember to hit calculate though if you're working with the optimization modifier, otherwise it won't do anything. And we're back to the beginning. Now I'm going to collapse the stack, turn it into a poly, And I'm going to attach. Just makes it easier for us to work with later on. Okay. Now, because I turn off quick save, we really should turn it back. I'm just wondering why my texture is showing up so dark there. I'm just going to save the model. I wonder if I was working in flat shaded before. Possibly. Statue. Okay, this is the main statue. I'm just checking the gamma. Looks fine. I'm just wondering why, when we go into shaded mode, it's looking quite dark. I wasn't doing that before. Why you do this now? New hello, sorry. That says, I think you can be a lecturer at college, 3D lecturer, I don't know. Maybe. I've been in 3D for a long time. I mean, I do know I use a lot of software as part of my job, so I know a lot of software. I've used a lot of software. No one's expert at everything though. Although some of the lecturers I had when I was at uni didn't seem to know very much. Some of them were good, but some of them weren't. Now I'm just trying to work out, again, why my texture is showing up so dark. There we go. Again, it was a problem with the show shaded, show realistic in Max. Basically, Max won't show lighting information unless you turn those two flags on. Now we're back to our proper color for our texture. Okay, so what can we work on next? So we UV mapped, all these pieces are UV mapped, I'm pretty sure, yeah, which is good. All the columns are UV mapped, which is good. I'm just going to check that unwrap. That's fine. So that's all good. I still don't know what design I'm going to come up with for the actual terrace itself. And we need to do some work with this piece as well. This is the... my idea for this is we're going to have the rotunda sitting on a low terrace, like a paved terrace. And I want these statues to be either side of the stairs. So I have to decide if I jump into the top view. So we're going to have two either side of a stair, like one here, there'll be another one next to it, and in between we're going to have steps. So, you know, one there with steps in between. I have to decide if I only want steps on either side of the terrace, or if maybe I want steps on all four sides of the terrace. So let me just zoom out here. So we could have steps just either side of the terrace, or we could have steps either side and at the front and the back. If I put steps just at the side, then we get to see the terrace, the rotunda itself much more easily. We're not going to be sort of like hiding the rotunda behind these statues. I'm going to make the statues smaller, they're too big at the moment. And we're going to change them as well, but I'm just at this stage trying to work out the design I want for the actual model itself, the terrace. We can always change our mind later if we need to. I'm just going to remove that second one. I think the first thing we should do is work out how big we want these statues to be. And that's too big. I'm thinking I might just do it manually down here. Might be better. I'm thinking maybe about in line with the top of the rotunda here. Remember, I'm sort of thinking of symmetry when we actually make the finished model. We could go smaller. We could take it in line with the top of the column. But this is an imposing statue. We don't want to take it too small. Otherwise, it's going to start looking a bit weird. So I think maybe in line with the top of the rotunda is probably good. And at this stage, I'm thinking one just either side, not two in the middle as well. I think the first thing I'll do is I'm going to clean this up a little bit because we have some stuff that I don't want. So let us clean up the model. I'm going to convert it to an edit poly. It'll take it a while because this is a high polygon mesh. Again, I work in edit poly mode, not edit mesh mode, because edit poly gives me many more options in Max than edit mesh. That's the reason I'm working in edit poly. I'm going to check what verts I've selected here. I think I hit the wrong button. It's going to undo that. I think the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to flatten these vertices out. Where's my mouse? There it is. Okay, now I'm going to hold down I think it's the control key from memory, and select. Quick Draw says, thoughts on using the slice modifier for addressing that area? You could use the slice modifier, yes. By all means, you could. Yeah, no, like I say to you guys, the way I work is the way I should, the way you see me working is the way I work, but there's 10 different ways to get to the same result in 3D. But you could use a slice modifier. I find I get a bit more control doing it this way than using the slice modifier. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to deselect those polygons, and now we just have that bit at the bottom that I wanted to get rid of that I can delete. But yep, you could certainly use quick slice, quick draw, quick draw, quick slice. So that's cleaned up the bottom of the mesh for us. Now, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this piece here. Now you can see it's only textured at the front. We do have to still take this back into ZBrush and clean it up as well. Just before I do that, I want to sort of look at this piece and decide how I want to design the use of it. Because again, in the photograph, you see it's up against, well, you didn't see this one. Let's look at this one. It's up against a building. Where is it? Statue here. It's a statue that's against a building. And it's quite big. Like I said, my head comes up to about here. So we've shrunk it down. And we're going to turn it into a statue either side of a stairwell for our terrace. But I just need to decide the design of the actual, I don't know what you call them, the column behind the statue, I guess. And we need to texture it up, but we're leaving the texturing until after we've done all the modelling. I think that'll be the easiest way to work. So we model everything, then we texture everything in Mari and Substance Painter, and then we take the final model into Eon View to do the beauty render. So at this stage, we're not going to worry about the texturing. We're more worried about the model design. So I need to come up with an interesting design for this piece. And I'm thinking, I quite like this shelf piece that overhangs the statue. Again, we've got to clean it up in ZBrush. Which we might do actually before I start remodeling pieces of it. Let's do that. Let's just make sure we do a save. Come on, Max. Why are you taking so long, Max? There we go. Always paranoid with 3D Studio Max. It has crashed on me before, Max, so... and because I turn auto save off, I have to make sure I remember to do it manually, and if it decides to crash, then I won't be happy. Generally it's good, but sometimes it crashes. Alright, so let us look at the texture. I want to make sure I have the texture. I think it's that one there, but I'll double check. Yep, that's good. I've got the texture loaded up. So let's assign a blank texture to it because I want to send it over to ZBrush. Okay. This one's not too bad. It's, as far as the actual model goes, there's not a lot of noise in it. It's mainly just the wall, really, I think. Maybe a little bit on this background piece as well. The bourbon is quite nice, Quick Draw says. You like the noise on the wall, you think? I don't know. Might be a bit much. We might just smooth out some parts of it. Again, I'm not going to use the polish here. I'm going to do this bit by hand because a lot of it doesn't need fixing. This shelf here does, but most of it is okay. So I'm going to just smooth up some of it by hand. We'll keep some of the noise in the wall, but I just want to clean up a couple of areas that are a bit too noisy. Hope you like enjoying that bourbon. Still, it'd be a bit early for me to start drinking, I think. A bit too early for me. It's around lunchtime here. Can you drink spirits at lunchtime? Can that be a lunchtime thing? It's 6:30 p.m. That's okay. You know, after 5 p.m. then that's fine. But midday, around midday-ish here in Australia, it's probably a bit early for me to start thinking about having a drink. Although you guys know I don't drink, that is, very much. Yeah, this shelf here needs a bit of clean up. And I think this decorative piece that attaches to the wall, I think that could be cleaned up a little bit as well. Just going to reduce my brush size, and I'm also going to reduce the intensity just a little bit. Might increase my intensity a little bit more. I'm actually using my mouse here. I should not be doing that. I'm going to switch to using the pen. New Hello says 9:30 a.m. in Southeast Asia. Well, 9:30 a.m. That might be a bit early to have a drink. Hey, whatever makes you happy, though. I'm not here to judge. If you guys and girls want to drink alcohol at whatever time it is in the morning, you go right ahead. You're all adults. You can do what you want. For these sort of finer areas, I find using the pen a little bit easier than trying to use the mouse. It gives me a bit more control. Whiskey and coffee, nice. They call it Brazilian coffee, quick draw sets. Whiskey and coffee. I thought there was an Irish coffee. What's an Irish coffee? I thought Irish, well, that's rum, isn't it? Rum and coffee, I think. An Irish coffee. I don't know, is that insulting to Irish people? It might be a bit insulting, I think. What are they suggesting when they call it Irish coffee, that Irish people are always drunk? Which is insulting and untrue. Quick Draw says, yeah, I tend to stay away from dairy products and spirits. No, I love my dairy products. I love the cheese. I love the Parmesan cheese. I've got this thing for Parmesan cheese. I can't get enough of it. I'll eat it by the spoonful. I love it. Parmesan cheese, yum. And I drink a lot of milk. I drink a lot of coffee, so huge amount of coffee. Probably too much coffee. You guys know it's the only thing that keeps me going during the day. I need the coffee. Without the coffee, I would just not function. Not well, anyway. The Sniper I'm surprised that Sniper Echo hasn't said something. Android Lust says addicted to caffeine. I am completely addicted to caffeine. If I did not have coffee, like I said, I would not function. It's the first thing I reach for when I wake up, and it's the last thing I have before I go to bed. Cup of coffee. And of course, you know, tens of cups throughout the day in between. I blame all those late hours working in the studio. Or working for the studio, all those late hours. Particularly when I worked in games. Man. The hours that you had to put in when you work in games development. Wow. Maybe it was just a studio I worked for. No, you generally... Deadlines in games development are pretty full on. That's why I love ArchViz so much. It's even though, I mean, I work from home, I do a lot of work anyway, and I enjoy what I do, so that's not a problem. But the hours were never as frenetic as they were when I worked in games development. That was, wow. The sky is falling every second day when you work in games development. The publisher wants this deliverable now. Things can break unexpectedly when you do game stuff. Oh, it's just, well. Working in film, that was fun. But that can be long hours too. I don't know, you just hear so many stories too now with games companies closing down and sacking all their staff and stuff. And I know a lot of you guys and girls that watch Twitch or watch me or watch anyone on Twitch probably do want to get into doing games for a living, and that's fine. I don't want to discourage you from doing that. But it is fraught with a lot more uncertainty than any other industry I've ever known. Studios close down all the time. So how was my Christmas, New Year, New Hello? It was good. I went to see my sister and my brother up in interstate, and they've each got 3 children, so I took all the kids. I gave the adults a break, the mum and the dads a break, and took the kids to Movie World on the Gold Coast, which is a theme park. Put them on the roller coaster, did all that sort of stuff. No, that was fun. The kids were pretty well behaved. It was nice catching up with my brother and my sister because I only really get to see them once a year around Christmas, New Year. Because yeah, I live in one state and they live in another. I live in one state, my brother lives in another state, my sister lives in yet another state. So it's sort of hard for us to all catch up. We can really only do it around Christmas time. So it was good. It was fun. It'd be nice not to have kids around New Year's, but hey, you can't expect my brother and sister to send their kids away for me. The kids are fine. Look, I love the kids. Their kids are really nice kids, but yeah. How was your Christmas, New Year though? New Hello? Did you get up to anything? Do anything? Was it good? Quick Draw says, do you guys ever drink 5-hour energy? I don't drink energy drinks, no, at all. That's what you mean. Yeah, that's what I agree. Android Lust says it tastes like cough medicine. I think it tastes like cough medicine too. It's disgusting. Energy drinks. I don't know how people can drink them. I think they're awful. Coffee. Coffee is the drink for me, but I need the energy. It's the coffee. Quickdraw says the first game studio I ever worked for shut down and was bought by Warner Brothers Games. They fired everyone on staff and brought in new artists. Oh no, Warner Brothers are actually very good to work for. I've done some work with them, for them. I was talking to the guys about it a few months ago. Warner Brothers, yep, great. Love working with them, for them. They were really helpful, really friendly, nice to work for. Fox Studios, on the other hand, were terrible. Terrible, terrible company to work for. Terrible. Well, I'll never get another job at Fox Studios. I'll see my Twitch and I'll say, don't you ever hire this guy. But Warner Brothers, I like Warner Brothers. I thought they were good. Maybe it was just the people that I was dealing with at Warner Brothers, but they were nice. They all behave like that, though. Every studio. Some are worse than others, of course, but, you know. New Hello says, Quickdraw, please, your heart will explode. Galen, it's good to see you, buddy. How are you? Happy New Year to you too. And did I add any highlights to your hair, or is that a few extra grays? Cheeky Galen, you're going to get a fill slap. It's probably a few extra grays. I have not added any highlights to my hair, no. So if it's anything, it is probably the grays. It makes me look distinguished, don't you think? I've noticed, because I had my hair cut last week, when it's freshly cut, maybe you're noticing through here a bit more. It looks lighter because I get it shaved sort of through here with the clippers. Yeah, it's probably grey. That's okay. Nothing wrong with grey hair. You're all going to get it one day. How was your Christmas, though, Galen? Was it good? Did you get up to anything interesting? What did you do over the New Year? No. Again, most of this doesn't need any clean up. It's pretty good. Just here and there. I'm going to do a little bit of clean up. New Hello says, wow, you have a happy family, Phil. Well, my sister and my brother. Yeah, I get along okay with my sister and my brother. But, you know, it's easy to get along with them when you only see them once a year. I guess that's probably the reason we get along so well. Because they're both married and they both have 3 kids each. And they've got their life, which is cool. Nice to catch up, though, over the Christmas period, New Year period. And then it's nice to come home and not have to deal with them. But we get along quite well. Quickdraw says, yeah, it's terrible. Cock flew in a bottle. Android Lust says, to Quickdraw, last time I had a 5-hour energy drink was when I drove 10 hours to pick up a motorcycle. Galen says, my beard is almost all white grey at the temples. Oh, cool. It looks good. I think grey hair looks cool. I actually like grey hair. I like that, you know, that salt and pepper look you can get where you got dark hair and white hair mixed together. I think that looks really cool. Maybe that's just me though. Ain't nothing wrong with a bit of grey. In fact, when I was 20, I wanted them to dye my hair grey. Like that really light silver grey, you know, that almost white colour. Yeah, because I really like that look. I actually think I did get it done for a while. So you could call it grey. It was like that white blonde colour. That's the colour my hair used to be when I was like 18, 19. But that sounds very distinguished there, Galen, with the beard going a bit grey with white at the temples. Works for George Clooney, as Quickdraw says. That's exactly right. Works well for George Clooney. Platinum, that's the colour, Galen. That's right. Platinum blonde, I think they call it. It was closer to white. That's the colour my hair used to be when I was in my late teens, 18 sort of thing. Because why not? I liked it. It was different. My hair used to be a lot lighter than it is now. When I was young, like when I was 10, 12 sort of thing, I had blonde hair. Like, yeah, not platinum blonde, but really light blonde. And the older I've gotten, the darker it gets. So I don't know why that is. Galen says, someone at TwitchCon 17 asked me if I did Santa Gear. I take that as a compliment, Galen. Did you go to TwitchCon 2018, Galen? I know you went last year. I'm just curious, did you go this year? I want to know what people thought of it. Because I don't even remember. Last year I watched a lot of the talks, videos of the talks that they had online. I don't think I've watched one this year, or from the last TwitchCon. No, you couldn't swing the finances yet. I imagine it does get expensive going to TwitchCon, or to any of these conventions. Particularly if you've got to fly a long way to get there. So yeah, I haven't even watched one video. I don't know if they have any online from TwitchCon 2018. Galen says, but I was in TwitchCon 18 Pro. Were you in a promo film for TwitchCon 2018? Cool. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Where is this promo video? I want to check it out. That's very cool though. Quickdraw says, alright, gotta run. Gotta go out with some friends. You guys have a good night. You have a good night too, Quickdraw. Thanks for being here and watching. If you're around tomorrow, I'm back on again at 5 p.m. Pacific in the US. You have a good night out with your friends. Yeah, look it up, Alan. But it's good to see you, Quickdraw. Okay, I don't think we really need to do much more with cleanup here, so let's send this back. Pretty sure it's Gauze. Export current subtool to Gauze. Yeah. Alright, let's jump. Back into Max. Wait for it to reload the model. It will take it just a little while to reload because this model hasn't been optimized. It's really high polygon. So we'll wait. It will get there. So yeah, I'm still not completely sure what design I'm going to go for these columns. We'll play around with a few ideas, see how we go. It's how I like to work in Max a lot of the time when I'm creating something new. I just play with different shapes and different objects inside of Max until I come up with sort of like a design I like. That's probably what I'm going to do with the design of the terrace itself. We'll just play around with some shapes and see what we come up with. I find that works for me the best way. Some people like to sketch it out beforehand, like they like to come up with an idea or sketch out an idea on paper that they might want. I find it quicker and easier just to play with shapes in Max. Come on, ZBrush, what are you doing? We did save it before, so if it does crash, it's not a problem. but I do know it is quite high poly, so you see it's 1, 2, 3, it's nearly 5 million, actually it's nearly 10 million polygons, I think. Yeah, it's nearly 10 million polygons, so it is going to take it a little while. Although this seems to be taking Max an awfully long time. I know that looks freaky, but Max still may come good. In fact, let me just I'm wondering if I should export the model just in case. Crashes are the worst, Android Lust. They are the worst, but thankfully we did remember to save it not too long ago, so we didn't do anything that we're going to lose. What I might do here is I'm just going to export the model just as a backup from ZBrush. Just got to work out where I want to put it. Sniper says, yep. Let's send it to... Where is it? Not the Temple of the Wind statue. Statue model. I'm going to call this one Statue BCK for backup. And just wait for ZBrush to export it. Cool, you linked the video in Discord. Let me check it out. Again, I'm just waiting for ZBrush here to finish exporting this model. But you see Max has come good, so it was unnecessary. It was just the fact that the model was quite high poly, 10 million polygons. It just took it a while for Goz and Max to sort of work between each other, which I had a feeling that was what was going to happen. I'm just going to reassign the texture to it. So now we've cleaned it up, that's good. Let's do a quick save. I'm going to save as here, and I'm going to start doing incremental saves. So New Rotunda, R2. Because when I start working after a while, I don't like resaving over the same file. I like creating a new save. Just again, to be on the safe side in case something happens, the original file gets corrupted. You never know. I want to check I see that QuickDraw popped a couple of things in Discord if you guys want to check them out to do with Blender training. And I want to check out this video that Galen appeared in for TwitchCon. We'll play it on stream. Because I'm sure Twitch won't mind me playing a Twitch video on a Twitch channel. Is there music or anything with this? I might pause my music if there is. Cool. I like the editing of the video. It's really cool. You're at stamp 20. Okay. So you are somewhere here, are you? Let's see if I can spot you. Remembering I've only ever seen you once in that photo that you showed where you dyed your beard purple. Where are you? Are you here? This is frame 20, Galen. So where are you? I'm assuming you must be here somewhere. Am I being blind? Santa Beard. Where's Santa Beard? Am I blind? I see this guy with a beard. Forward a bit. Oh, okay. Oh, here. Oh, yeah. Okay. Cool. Look, you get a nice close-up too. Really nice. They've even blurred the foreground figures to show you off more. Oh, that looks cool. I can see what you mean by your grey. That's okay. Grey looks good. Grey is cool. I like the way that Twitch put the production for the video together. It looks really cool. They did a good job. And handlebars to boot, the handlebar mustache. Cool. I'd download this video and keep it on my hard drive if I was you forever. It's cool. Pardon me. Android Lost says the camera person was admiring the beard. They must have been, because they gave him, in that shot you see that they've blurred the foreground figures to make Galen stand out there in the middle. So he was the focus of that shot. Whoever put the video together made him the focus of the shot. It looked cool. Galen says, I was point of focus, no doubt you were. Whoever was behind that camera there wanted you in shot, front and centre. I can see why. You look cool. You look like a typical cool Twitch person. It's funny, I had people pop in, because I don't have a beard, but I have like a growth. And this person said, why does everybody on Twitch have a beard? Why do all the guys on Twitch have a beard? I'm sure they don't all have a beard. Sniper says, let's be honest, this was a video of Galen. That's right. It was Galen's video. No, it was cool. And like I said, Twitch did a good job putting that together, or whoever put it together for Twitch did a good job. It was a good compilation of the TwitchCon. TwitchCon does look like a lot of fun. I really should try and get to one at some stage. It looks like everyone has a lot of fun. Yeah, like I said, I've watched some of the video panels that have been given at Twitch. I've watched them online, but it's different, I guess, if you're there. Well, it's definitely different if you're there. Okay, so we got our little piece here optimized. Cleaned up, I should say. It hasn't been optimized yet. We did a save. Let's do another one to make sure. Galen says they're doing a TwitchCon EU this year as well. Oh, cool. Well, actually, EU is probably further for me than going to the US to go to TwitchCon. I think the US is probably a bit closer to where I am than flying the other way to go to the EU. But it'd be cool. It'd be nice to go to Europe and watch TwitchCon. I'll do it one day. I will. Just when I get the time off work, I guess. And the finances, because it would work out to be quite expensive, I imagine, too. I think we might leave it there, though, for today, guys and girls. I do want to thank you for being here and for watching, though. It's good to see you all back in 2019. You didn't forget about me while I was away. It's the next best thing to PAX, Galen says. I haven't been to PAX either. I haven't been to any of these conventions. I've really got to get my act into gear. Or get my butt into gear, or whatever the expression is. I really should. Because it does look like fun. I would like to experience it. Yes, so I'll be back on again though tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific, US, as usual. We'll continue on with putting together our terrace rotunda model. I do want to thank you though, like I said, for being here and for watching and for remembering that I'm still around after my break and showing up. I do appreciate it, guys and girls. I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you all again tomorrow. You guys take care. It's good to see you too, Galen. See you guys.